actually note. So it is actually important to note how is your mala. By noting that, and you don't have to tell anyone in the beginning. If you haven't done it till now, all you have to do is make a note of it. Figure out for yourself how is, see, if I give the same dosa or the same, see, dosa idli were out now. So I gave the same khichdi to all of you. 10 people ate it. The byproduct or what is actually coming out as stools is going to be different for each one of you. Each and every one of you will have a different way in which that comes. So why is that happening? How is your agni? What role does your metabolism play in all this? All of those also we will look at. So right now, Prasishta Mutra is what we're talking about. Observe your stools. See if they are sinking or floating. If they are floating, what does it mean? If it's sinking, what does it mean? If your stool is floating, it is actually a healthy stool. That is the first thing. Second thing, if it is well formed, as in once you pass motion into the commode, check whether it is just dispersing off in the water, or is it actually just there floating and along with a form. Well formed stools actually have almost the same shape as your colon or intestines. That is important, which means that the absorption happened in the correct way. The body took as much water and other liquid content that it required, and it expelled only the portion that it can no longer utilize in the body. So that is for you to look for. Is there a smell? Does this make a difference? If there is a smell and if it is quite, strong, know that definitely there is something wrong with your gut, how the digestion process is happening. It could be an increase of pitta, it could be an increase of ama, it could just be indigestion happening. It could be a variety of things. How long you've had it like that, you have to start observing. If you haven't, that is why the point comes. Awareness in all aspects, not just the body, everything that is happening. So, Prasishta wind, then Prasishta mutra. Even mutra plays a role. The entire fluid mechanism of our body is controlled by sweat, by stools, by some amount of water that gets evaporated from the skin and also from tears, but not always. So Mutra plays a major role in how and I'm using few technical terms, we'll get into all of them as the sessions go by. So how this whole, I can't call it moisture also, klid is that which provides that unction, that provides that moisture, that gives the body its ability to move around all of its content within itself. So how is that happening? Checking your mutra gives an indication to how is that whole process, prakriya, happening within the body. And what should you look for? You should look for change in color. You should look for, I am drinking 3 glasses of water, but I am passing urine about 7 times a day, and my volume is also high. What could that mean? There are a bunch of possibilities, but only if you know, only if you see, can you actually do something about it. So at this point, it is just for awareness. Know what it is, then we will discuss it. So Prasishta Wind Mutra we finished. Hridi Suvi Male Doshe Swapathage. Hridi Suvi Male. Your body and your chest and even the upper portion, Amashaya, the upper portion of your abdomen, all of this feels light. Doshe Swapathage, which means there isn't any major discomfort. You're not feeling like you have a cold onset, you have a headache that's coming up, your body feels heavier, lethargic, you feel tired. All of these are abnormals. They are not your norm. This is not your center median, your mean line. That's not it. So checking for that. Hridi Suvi Male Doshe Swapatage. They should all be in normalcy. After this, what should you look for? Vishuddhe cha Udgare. Udgara is belching. Whatever belch you have, apam, if you have it along with the smell of some food or along with some sort of a bitter kind of taste or any other thing that's coming up, it is indicated that even in the upper portions of your digestive tract, of your amashaya, there is a problem. So in such a state, if you end up putting more food inside, it is going to cause more problem, eventually lead up in ama, eventually lead in vyadhi. So we are trying to, why, first of all, why is all this important to us again? Coming back to the point, it is important because we want to keep this instrument in the best, most, usable format. It is a tool, it is an instrument. So Sharira should be maintained well so that the rest of the connections of Ayu take place correctly. Okay. So now, Vishuddhe Chodgare, we did that. Kshut Upagamane, Shuddha, Kshut, that is the Vega, the urge of hunger. You should have that natural urge of pasikar. You should have that hunger. Slight, there'll be that not a burning feeling, but the feeling of hunger itself. For many people, just because the timings are set, they're a teacher, they're working in an office, they have an IT job, whatever it is, just because of that, they have fixed times. Morning they wake up, routine, rote, eat, move, take bag, keep moving. So there is no awareness of, am I even hungry? Do I need that food for today? Should I wait or skip a meal? Should I have just a glass of hot water? Should I have jeera water? These are things you can think of only if you know. So Vishuddhe Chodgare is another such indicator. Shuddhupagamane Vate Anusarati. Vata, Adhovata, flattest that is being passed. Has it been passed that is clear and smooth? It is an indicator that now whatever movements had to happen from your digestive tract of the previous food, see, this is not just for the morning meal. This is for every meal. When should you take ahara? So you don't eat only in the morning. This is the factors for morning, afternoon, evening, or any time you think you need to eat. Check for these factors. So we saw Vatenu Sarati. Tata Agna Udrikte Vishada Karane. Okay, Tata Agnau Udrikte. You feel that as Kshudh has come, Agni is also good. For many people, we will deal with the concept of Agni. There are 4 different types of Agni. They vary from person to person. They vary in stages of life also. But overall nature, usually one person will have one type of Agni. What are the types of Agnis? One is Manda Agni. Manda meaning what? A slow, small burning flame. Meaning it is going to take more time for Paka. Meaning even if you put small amount of, dravya, fuel, it will be enough because the flame itself is small. For one small deepa, if you keep one whole, brick, and if you keep an entire branch as the fuel, is it going to burn it easily? No, it's going to take a very long time. It won't do correct paka. All such problems will happen. For one roasting fiery huge 1 meter agni is flowing. For that you put, with your hand you're putting only this much ahutina. That will eat it up. There'll be nothing left. It will keep burning. So that is called Tikshnagni. So you have Mandagni, then you have Tikshnagni. Tikshnagni is where any small amount of dravya you put also, it is not enough. It is asking for more and more because Agni itself is like that. And then there is Samagni. Samagni is the one where you give the correct matra of dravya. It will do proper paka. It will transform all of that ahara into the dhatus, into the body material that you have. So Manda, not very, very low Agni, small amount of food enough. You don't have to keep feeding it because it already takes long time for this to do Paka. That was Manda. Sama Agni, it does correct Paka, correct amount of Dravya, whatever you give, it will be able to digest completely. It will transform it correctly. You will have proper nourishment of all tissues. In Manda Agni, nourishment may take more time also. It may be little more sluggish or heavier. In Tikshna Agni, even if you put how much ever you give fuel, there will be someone who says every half an hour, every 1 hour, I'm feeling fully pasi. So that person, then the kind of fuel required, the nature of fuel required, the nature of the ahara or dravya you gave, all of it will vary for each of these types of agnis. And then there are vikrita agnis, which is also vishama. Vishama is vikrita here. And vikrita meaning that which is not normal. What does that mean? It is a fluctuating agni. You may have, sometimes you may feel very hungry, you may eat correctly, it will properly do paka. Sometimes you may not feel hungry at all. Sometimes you'll eat little bit and it will quickly digest off fully. Sometimes you eat the same amount and it'll take 1, 3, 4, 5 hours to digest. That is a Vishama Agni. By your own nature, you will have one Agni. That is for you to figure out. By knowing it, you can figure out what and how much and when you should actually take ahara. What kind of dravyas are more important for your type of Agni, which you can also predict what kind of diseases will you get. just based on this Agni. How? Because your body is made up of what you're eating. What you're eating is undergoing Paka by this Agni. See, that becomes the most major nidus or factor for anything that you face in life. So this is one major or very important concept that I want you to take home. Assessing Agni. Your Agni can be assessed through how much hunger you feel, what kind of digestion takes place for you, whether if you eat, say you're eating 3 chapatis and it takes about 4 hours for you to digest it. And the same 3 chapatis, it is taking 6 hours to digest, or same 3 chapatis, 1.5 hours to digest. Based on the amount of time that it's taking, and when you feel your next hunger, that is how you figure out which type of Agni you have. Okay. So this is also an exercise for all of you to figure out. Know which kind of Agni you have, so that when I'm telling you about how Shadrasas, which of the 6 tastes are more important, you will know which Agni I am, so what should I apply more. Similarly, in certain seasons, some people, there may be variations. So what should I do then? How do I cater to that? How do I tweak what I'm eating slightly and modify it such that I don't get any kind of any problems later on? So this is one important concept. Other than this, so we were seeing Tatha Agnau Drikte Vishada Karane Dehe cha Sulaghau. Vishada Karane. All of the tools of the body. The whole Sharira itself is one tool. Amongst that, you have Karanas. You have the Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, and you have Manas. All of these should be able to do its functions correctly. Vishada Karane. Clarity in the ability to do those functions. Dehe cha Sulaghau. Laghu. The body feels light. It feels, now I can eat something. It doesn't feel like sluggish or heavy or having any other kind of vikara. It could be headaches, feeling of vanti, having loose motions, having hot pain in the abdomen, bhara in the hands and legs, anything at all. Any other symptom where your body does not feel light, does not feel like it's in its prakrita avastha, that condition you should then figure out what to eat. That will vary. So this is for the normal healthy person. Dehe cha sulaghav. Then finally he concludes, Prayunjita Aharam. Use the Ahara correctly. Vidhi Niyamitaha, as the rules have been told. Kalaha Sahimataha, in the correct time. Now, Kala is very interesting. Kala, you have so many Kalas. You have the Kala that you experience as a person, as you are growing, the different stages of life. That is one type of Kala. The second is Vyadhi Kala. If you are not in a healthy state and you have some sort of a difficulty, it could be any kind of symptom, then what stage is that Vyadhi in? That Kala is another. The third is the Kala that we face as part of seasons and changes in the weather. That is a very important factor, because obviously the person living in Antarctica facing a cold weather, facing something that is extreme in one side, versus the person in Delhi summer at 50 degrees will have completely different kind of ahara. Everybody knows this. In Meghalaya, they will be including all other types of spices and shoots so that their Agni can be maintained, because it is raining there continuously for more than 9 months in a year. Similarly, in Kerala, similarly in Goa, the entire east and west coast, if you look at what kind of food that they eat, it will be totally different. So that is based on the Ritu, the seasons. We have 6 Ritus. I'm not introducing all concepts today because we cannot cover it. That is why Ahara is going to be dealt with in at least 3-4 sessions. But we're looking at what all should we be looking at. How all can this one Ahara be affected? And we're just looking, at this point, we are only looking at what the implementation tools that you have right now is only to see stool, figure out how much Mutra is happening, find out what kind of Agni you have. That's all has been told to you till now. Okay, so in the aspect of Kala, today we will cover one portion of it, which is the bias, the aging process that happens. Now, according to Ayurveda, bias is divided into 3 main stages. The first portion is Balyavastha, in childhood. Then there is Madhyama. Madhyama consists of a bunch of divisions. We'll look at it. And post 70, so until 16 is considered as Balya Avastha. Then you have Madhyama from 16 all the way to 70. And then Saptati after 70, whatever is there is left as Vardhakya. Okay? Why should we understand what is the relevance of how we are aging to what we are eating? You will not give the same food that the middle-aged 50-year-old is having to the baby who's 1 or 2 years old. They will be only on their mother's milk. After a few years, you would have, after 1 year, 1.5 years, you would have introduced small amount. You would have introduced little rice, little of the normal food that we're taking. From 3 to 16, you'll be maintaining things that are nourishing. Give nuts, you'll be giving fruits, you'll be giving things that are more pushtikara. From 16 to 70, you'd break it down. We don't normally change our food. Why I'm telling this is because we get so many patients who come after the age of 40, especially women who come after the age of 40 saying my bleeding has increased, my menstrual cycles are causing a lot more problem, menopause is hitting earlier, they get so many symptoms, the heat flush is happening, I'm gaining weight, bones, joints are paining, bleeding is increasing, so many issues come up. Now these are all having a relation to how we are aging. And along with age, what are we doing in our daily activity? That plays a very important role. That is why this topic has been taken. Like I'm taking this up today. So 0 to 16, Balyavastha is a dominant phase of growth. It is a dominant phase where kapha is higher in the body. All sorts of nourishment is happening. The body's angas are all growing and it requires that kind of pushti. It is not in a phase of maintenance, it is in a phase of srishti itself. So in that phase, when you're looking at the 6 days, you would go for more things that are madhura praya. You will give things that are more madhura, not sweet, not gulab jamun, but even anna that you eat is considered as one of the madhura dravyas. Godhuma, wheat that you eat is also under madhura dravya. When we are classifying, all dravyas are classified under one of these 6 rasas, tastes that are felt, and the way in which it undergoes paka, the way in which it undergoes transformation or metabolic changes in the body. When you put ahara, it is not rice that comes and sits on your skin forming skin tissue. It is a process that happens within the body. This agni plays a major role in converting what ahara you eat into something that the body can absorb. This is very, very, very important. Understanding that the ahara undergoes transformation with agni samparka. We saw types of agni, that agni plays a major role. The way that food gets digested impacts what kind of tissue is formed in your body. In the first 16 years of life, we require things that are formed really well. We require things in little more quantity, and we require it to do this vardhana. Next, we go to Madhyama. Madhyama is the period or phase of life when Pitta is more higher in the body. Okay. And that age group is divided into 4 portions. The first is up to the age of 20. 16 to 20, we are calling it as Vriddhi. Complete formation of all dhatus has not happened by the age of 16 itself. By 16, all have formed, but all of their functions have not matured fully. That is also why when we are asking couples to get married, it is not before 20, it is actually after that phase. Especially for conception, we do ask them to look at it only after 2023. For females, it is little earlier. By 16, they do have a better kind of maturation. In men, it is 25. This is from Shastra. This is the reference from Shastra. So we are looking at Vriddhi, which is until 20. Then you have the period of Yauvana. Yauvana or youth is up till 30. In this phase, growth has now completely matured. You are enjoying a phase where you have all of the bala, paurusha, parakrama, energy, everything that you require is there in that phase. There is no lack for it. That is in Yauvana. Then up till 40. By 40, it is called as Sampurna. Sampurna meaning, at this point, there is no more possibility for any more growth or upachaya. It will stop after 40. You're not going to have any more growth. At this stage, you actually have to learn to do a lot of changes in your lifestyle. We'll look at that. And after Sampurnata, after 40, you move towards Parihani. Parihani is Ishathani. You have not started a full-fledged degeneration process, but the body is no longer growing. It is starting to slowly withdraw. 40 to 50 is this age. This is the phase in which that starts happening. Post 40 up till 70, this parihani continues to happen. Okay, and post 70, whatever is there in the body, that phase of life itself is called as vardhakya, old age. Now, what does ahara have to do with all this? Why are you going on telling chumma divisions and all? So it is important. Why is it important? We saw that in the initial phase, you are giving things that are more madhura, praya. Other rasas will also be there. What are these 6 rasas? They are madhura, sweet, amla, sour, lavana, salty, katu, spicy, tikta, bitter, kashaya, astringent, almost no flavor. These are your 6 rasas. 6 rasas are also originating from the 5 elements. Why do you need the 6 rasas? Is it important to have all 6 rasas? Yes. On a daily basis, it's important to cover all of these in at least small quantities. In the modern aspect, if you look at what does nutrition say, they have the understanding only in terms of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, micronutrients. This is how they view the entirety of what we're eating. From Ayurveda's perspective, because our understanding is from the Pancha Mahabhutas, how are the 5 elements present? How are those 5 elements present in my body? What kind of functions do they do? Because we're looking at it from this angle, we will look at how are these 6 rasas formed. They are made up of combinations of these Pancha Mahabhutas. So when you need different parts of the body form from different kinds of elements. Your hridaya, the hridaya itself forms from kapha, shonita, prasadajam. Like that vrika forms from meda, shleshma and mamsa. Each of the organs form under different kinds of permutations and combinations. So you need food that can nourish each kind of element within the body, which is why we need a shadrasa but madhura praya ahara. Why madhura praya? That is what we are accustomed to right from birth. As soon as you are born, the first thing that you are being given is tanya, Amma's breast milk. That milk's property is also madhura. For everything, for growth, beliyakke, for growth, you require madhura rasa. Among all the rasas, this is what is made of earth and jala. Prithvi, jala, mahabhuta is what forms these. So the substance or the matter of your body is going to be formed from madhura rasa, which is why you need it. But if you put only madhura rasa, what will happen? It will not undergo full transformation, because agni, as much as it plays a role, agni needs a little help. Agni needs a little stimulation. When we are doing havan, we have some amount of camphor already there. That is how we are starting that agni, right? So similarly, you need dravyas that are having that agni tattva also in it. Where do we get that from? We get it from katu, spicy. We also get it from amla and lavana. All 3 rasas, amla, lavana and katu, these 3 have an element of agni mahabhuta in it. You have the fire element in it. At the same time, if you put too much of it, it will burn it all away. It will cause something called vidahitva. Vidahi is an interesting concept. Vidahi is all things that after you have had vidahi ahara, it gives you a feeling of heartburn. It gives you a feeling of, oh my god, it feels so hot inside. It is interesting, because if you drink fizzy drinks, cola, soda, paneer soda, anything at all, it burns the whole throat. It goes inside and it causes this vidahitva. If you have pickles, if you have puliyodare, if you have fermented things that have been kept for a long time, then you eat it. All of these cause this vidahitva in the body. So this amla, lavana and katurasa, if you have a lot of it, then it causes vidahitva. And is vidahitva good? No. Why? Because the first dhatu, I'm introducing a lot of terms today, we will review all of them again. Dhatu is tissue elements of the body. All this, we have 7 dhatus in the body. This is how Ayurveda looks at it. Ayurvedic physiology works this way. And in that, the first dhatu that is formed from ahara rasa is called as rasa dhatu. That nature of that rasa dhatu is actually shita. It is cold in nature. It has to do nourishment. If something is hot and burning, can it nourish something else? No. It can only transform it or bhasmify it, and it will not be usable in the best format. So all these vidahi foods cause that kind of a change. So the ahara rasa converting to this rasa dhatu ends up being vidahi. So what will happen? Whatever you've eaten, now you feel the whole body is starting to feel like, excess warm. You feel you get more sweating. You may not have any of these symptoms also, but you start getting wrinkles earlier. Your hair starts becoming white earlier in life. All of these are a nature of this, their contribution of this vidahitva. If you look back at how does our practices help in this, you have Shitali, you have Shitkari, you have even with just simple abdominal breathing, all of these reduce this burning kodi 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 nilai of the body. So it directly influences how the Agni works. All of our pranayamas directly impact how the Agni works. This is all homework for you. This is all for you to sit and figure from experience. The actual understanding or the theory of it we will deal with. But what do you experience when you take you're doing abdominal breathing for about 15 minutes now? What change do you have? If you don't do practice, you have not done pranayama at all for about say 5 days, what happens to your Agni? Are you feeling the same kind of rhythm? You may not. If you do excess pranayama for 1 hour, 1.5 hour practice you have done, is there a need for even, do you even think you need food? Is your body responding to the, that Kshudvega? Is that coming up? These are all things to observe for each of us. So coming back, we saw Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu. And then there are two more rasas, Tikta and Kashaya. Tikta rasa is that which is bitter. Bitter, it is made up of Akasha and Vayu. It is made up of these two elements. And you have Kashaya, which is made up of Prithvi and Vayu. So Vayu in the body generally increases from these two. We will look at one concept. Okay, maybe not more concepts. We have about close to 20 minutes. Either we can take questions. So far, if there are any questions, we can look at that. Or I will cover two more concepts, then we will look into that. Anyone?
Questions, please.
Questions. Okay. All right, fine.
Yeah. Today's topic. And also like if people have been doing Abhyanga, those who were doing and whatever experience that they were going through,
Sure.
some of them have questions regarding that also. Like,
okay.
so
I think we'll do questions then, no problem. Sure. So just to summarize and end it in one place, we have started to look at Ahara. Today we just saw only the concepts of what all to look for before putting food into the mouth. We saw that you should have passed urine, flatus, feces. You should have a clear belch. The body should feel light. You should have normal functioning all indriyas. Everything should feel, in its space and in its own pathways, doing its own jobs. Only then will you, and you should feel hungry. You should be able to feel that you are having Agni. Only then should you be eating. This is all. This is one set of things we covered today. Second thing we saw is there are 6 rasas. Each of them play a role. We have not gone into it in detail. We just saw that Madhura plays a major role in directly contributing to the mass of the body. That has to be aided by Amla, Katu and Lavana rasas, salt, spicy and sour things, so that the Agni is able to actually do proper paka of all the things that you have put. Other than this, we saw that the age in which you are plays a major role. We have not seen completely what role does it play, but we have seen that it plays a role. When we cover the concept of what are doshas, how does growth, stasis or completely maintaining in one phase and then degeneration, when all of this happens, how does it contribute? What kind of change should we make in our food? This is something we should look into. We will do that. We saw that our practices do have a major influence, especially pranayamas, even asanas have a major influence on how the agni works. And this is something that you can start becoming more aware of. Other than this, I think I had kept a lot of points to discuss today, but I think this is enough. So we had a revision of what all was covered in the first two classes. So we'll go with questions now. It can be based on today's class or it can be based on what was discussed in the previous two classes.
Shreyas, you may ask.
Thank you, Hari Om ji. So I had a question about Abhyanga first. So when I put the oil in my ear, a lot of it drips out. So I don't know if I'm putting excess oil in my ear. That's one thing. But otherwise, I should give the feedback that generally my sleep schedule has improved, and in fact, now itself I'm feeling quite sleepy. So it's a
Okay.
fantastic
Yeah.
development. I used to struggle to sleep, so this is a fantastic practice. One more thing is that I feel very light when I, anticipate how to go about eating the food based on how much I'm burping, based on, whether I'm salivating a lot, all that stuff I'm able to observe. But one thing about eating that I'm doubtful of is that can I keep to like certain schedule because my expulsion is not on time. So that is slightly worrisome. So my question is, can I eat morning one time, evening before sleep one time?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
please.
my
That's it.
current is out. I'm just going to answer with this.
Sure, sure.
So,
Question.
okay. So addressing your first question, no, I don't think the amount of oil you're adding is the problem. The thing is that after adding the drops, you actually have to plug it with cotton. It won't stay inside because the method in which the ear anatomy is, it will come out.
Okay.
So, I mean, in case, and I'm sorry if we hadn't mentioned, but we put the drops in and then we actually plug the ear auditory canal with cotton.
So can I use like those little earplugs that we get, right? The yellow ones, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
color.
it's up to you. It's up to
Ah,
you.
okay.
Than a plug, I would suggest cotton because if there is such an condition of excess oil, some amount
Mm.
of it will be absorbed by the cotton. Ear plug
Oh,
can't do that.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
That's first one is okay. Second one, now in terms of motion, actually, that is something that for each person it actually varies. In one way, it varies. But what is healthy is actually that every day that you pass is healthy. If you aren't in that stage, that doesn't mean that you should stop eating. But you should make sure that you feel at least little bit light and then you do eat. Yeah. See, if the rest of the things that we saw, as in your burps or salivation, if your tongue doesn't feel coated and you're actually feeling hungry, those are all still good indicators. It may just mean that the nature of food that you have to eat, plus, see, the stage at which you're receiving this information is after like 25 plus years of your life. So now when you're going to change it, it's actually going to take some time to bring those practices in place. So absolutely you should continue eating. Just include little more ghee if you're feeling hungry enough.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I haven't been skipping any meals or anything. I'm just
Yeah. No, that is
asking to
also
make sure
important.
like erratic, like one day eating in the morning and night, second day eating afternoon and night.
No,
Instead of that,
not
maybe
advisable.
every day
Yeah.
morning and night.
See, the
Yeah.
time matters. Making sure you're hungry by that time matters even more. This is what ma'am had
Okay.
also discussed last time. She said
Yes.
818 we're fixing. If
Mm.
you're not too hungry, even having one glass of hot water, one glass of hot milk, or just a
Ah,
fluid counts as a meal because Ashita, things that are eaten, Ashita, eaten, Khadita, you're chewing properly fully, Pita, those that are drunk, Leadha, that which is licked. All these types of things count as food only.
okay.
So in that annakala, in the time when you're supposed to eat, if you're not fully hungry, you can still have some soup, some liquid, something that is much lighter than what you'd normally have.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Shrikant ji. Shrikant, can you
Um,
please?
um, yeah, Hariom ji. Let Raghu ask the first question. I have a question and follow up with the second one.
Hari Om ji.
Thanks. This is my
Hariom.
first session. Still, I
Okay.
haven't gone through the first one. My apologies for that.
No problem.
First question is, thanks for this insight. Um, to identify the Agni, the observations what you have highlighted, it is really good. We'll continue to do so. Okay, and we will keep in track and we will check for any clarifications. When you highlighted about the Agni specifically, how the Agni is reacting, is there any symptomatic references that we need to take it into? Because for certain people, Agni would be stomach burning மாதிரி இருக்கும். சில பேருக்கு வந்து வாய் மாதிரி இருக்கும், இல்லை யூரின் போகும்போதோ இல்லை டாய்லெட் போகும்போதோ வந்து அந்த எரிச்சல் சென்சேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கும், இல்லை கண்ணு எறிகிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒன்று வச்சு நம்ம அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கணுமா அது அது மாதிரி இருக்குன்ட்டு? இது ஒரு கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன். இது ரெண்டாவது வந்து அந்த த்ரிதோஷாஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, நீங்க ஹைலைட் பண்ணீங்க வாதா பித்தா கபா. இப்போ வந்து இது பாடி டைப் வந்து இதுதான்றதுக்கு நம்ம ஏதாவது ஒரு பிசிஷியன் கிட்ட தான் போய் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணுமா, இல்லை அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு செக்லிஸ்ட் இருக்கா?
ஓகே, ஃபைன். ஸோ உங்களோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின், அக்னி இருக்குங்கிறதுக்கு ஆக்சுவலி ஒரே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இண்டிகேஷன் இஸ் தட் உங்களோட எல்லா நார்மல் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸும் யூர் ஏபிள் டு டூ, நல்ல எனர்ஜி லெவல் இருக்கு, சாப்பிட்டதெல்லாம் ஜரிக்கிறது, இவ்வளோ பார்த்தா போறோம். ஆக்சுவலா நீங்க சொல்ற சிம்டம்ஸ் கண் எரிச்சலோ, புளிச்ச ஏப்பம் மாதிரி வருதோ, இல்லைன்னா மோஷனோ யூரின் போனாலோ எரியறதோ, இதெல்லாம் ஆக்சுவலா விக்ரிதி. இட் இஸ் ஆல் ஆக்சுவலி நாட் நார்மல். If people are regularly suffering from it, it is actually a suffering. It is not a normalcy. So அது அக்னியோடைய லக்கா இல்லை. That is not how you look for is there Agni. அக்னிக்கு best way to look at it is skin clear-ஆ இருக்கு, nails எல்லாம் கிராக் ஆகாம இருக்கு, டங் கோட்டடா இல்ல, சாப்பிட்டா ருசி தெரியறது, பசிச்சு சாப்பிட்டா நல்லா ஜரிக்கிறது, நல்ல தூக்கம் வருது, காலையில எழுந்துக்கிற போது you don't feel heavy. These are your actual basic things to look for. This is one thing. மூணாவது நீங்க கேட்டது வைத்தியத்தை போனாதான் என்னோட பாடி டைப் என்ன தெரியுமா? ஆக்சுவலி அப்படி இல்லை. பட் பொது ஜனக்கு கரண்டா there is not enough knowledge of how to assess the body. We will be covering it in a period of time. So when you start observing, then we will slowly move into that phase. Also, இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, பிரகிருதி அப்படிங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சு the lay person has lesser to do with the prakriti. It is more for the physician actually. The lay person's more important thing is actually Agni. Because they have direct control. நமக்கு டைரக்ட் கண்ட்ரோல் நம்ம சாப்பிடுறதுல இருக்கு. நம்மளுக்கு வியாதி வந்து இதாச்சுன்னா அது அப்படி ஆகி நான் என்ன பண்ணணும், தட் இஸ் ஆக்சுவலி த ரோல் ஆஃப் த வைத்தியா. அவ அதுக்குதான் படிச்சிருக்கா. ஸோ நீங்க அங்க போறது இஸ் ஆக்சுவலி குட். But it's good to know to an extent, so you know where at what stage of life what will happen, or what kind of issues are normally a problem for you, how to manage those things at home itself. நீங்க என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? Those are things for which that can be used. Fantastic. Again, over time we will cover it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Nirmala ji, followed by Jagadish.
I think Shrikant ji had it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shrikant ji.
Yeah.
Please.
Follow the same question, Umaji and Anandji. So, for me, when I look through the definitions of what you said, I only have a problem on the Agni. Rest of the topics, I'm pretty much able to monitor and check. I'm not able to predict what kind of Agni I have. While the rest of the things that you said, whether about the nails or everything is okay. My pitta is very high, but my bowel movement has been very irregular. In other words, digestion has been a problem. It is not regular every day, but when it happens, it is very regular. Alternate days, whatever it is, it's there, right? So it's not regular. And one of the things, as Umaji knows, I have a migraine, and digestion is being told. One of the Ayurveda doctors, Madhu Kartish, said that digestion has got a direct reversal to my why I am getting migraine. So, ipo enak enna type of Agni irukum, and is there anything I can do about it?
Okay. I cannot answer fully today because Agni is not affected only by what you're eating. We have totally, because Ayu is a samyoga of 4 things we saw. It is of Sharira, yes. It is of Indriya, Atma, Manas also. We have not looked at Manas at all. There is a high role that your Manas will also play in how your Agni is functioning. Last time, if you had attended ma'am's class, she had mentioned that we associate what we are eating also with how we are feeling. We don't just eat as it is, we eat with feeling. We அது பார்த்து ஓ இது நல்லா இருக்கே, இது எனக்கு பிடிச்ச விஷயம், ஏன்னா இன்னும் நல்லா சாப்பிட்றதுக்கு there is a higher chance. If it's something you don't like, you won't eat so much. Your agni has a similar connection to how your mind functions. If you have kapha in general, if you are lethargic by nature, if you have tamas a lot in the body, mandama irukkakoodiya agni is a higher possibility in you. If you have more of vayu in the body, you have a lot of fluctuation, you think a lot, சாப்பிடுற போது யோசிச்சுட்டே சாப்பிடுறேன், இந்த மாதிரி விஷயம்லாம் இருந்தா there is something called vishamata, that agni may fluctuate a lot more. ஒரு விண்டோஸ் லைட்டா திறந்து வச்சு இங்க ஒரு கேஸ் ஆன்ல இருக்குன்னா அந்த wind will affect that agni. That is how your mind and your thoughts and how you're feeling with how you're eating gets connected. So agni is affected by a lot of things. If you're not able to determine it, it's okay. It is just to start this process that we are introducing these topics now. Yeah. So you can just continue observing. If it is in a vyadhi avastha, see, when you're having headaches like that, it actually means there is an internal imbalance. There is an issue. So when we're looking at that kind of a picture, so நம்ம பேசுறது எல்லாமே is for the healthy person. For someone having a chronic disorder or having issues for a long time, it has to be addressed separately.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Anandima.
Namaste, Auntie. Sure.
Namaste. Actually, I did all my Shaktarmas yesterday. As a practice, I also did my Nasyam, Karnapurna and everything. Is it okay to do the Shaktarmas and also Nasyam?
Good question. Good question. Okay. External, as in abhyanga. Ninga Shakkarma pandramodhu, we're putting the body through a very, it's a like a full blown hose நீங்க உள்ள போட்டு தண்ணிய forcibly நீங்க வெளில தள்ளுறேன், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கண்டிஷன். So vayu already அந்த பீரியட்ல பயங்கர forcibly தான் இருக்க போறது. I would personally, and நீங்க especially when we have so much salt water and then you expel it out and you're asked to be on a very light diet of 2-3 days முதல்ல இருந்துட்டு then starting your abhyanga and all the others will be a better choice. Because abhyanga also requires some amount of agni and has to be absorbed. When you're in a complete ajirna avastha, when you feel absolutely எதுவுமே ஆகல, இல்ல நீங்க அக்னிக்கு வந்து இவ்ளோ ஒரு forcibly ஒரு சேஞ்ச் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறீங்கிற போது abhyangamo, karnapurna is okay, padabhyanga is okay, but doing a full body abhyanga during that time is not really advisable. It's better to wait. It is like a shodhana. It is like during your menstrual cycle you will not do abhyanga. It is similar to that. So you will wait for a period of recuperation, 3-4 days, until things settle down, vayu feels normal in the body, your hunger comes back properly, you're able to digest little more than kanji, பொங்கல் சாப்பிட முடியாது, vegetables திரும்பி இன்க்ளூட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கேன், அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் வந்த அப்புறம் அபியங்க ஆரம்பிக்கிறது பெட்டர்.
Jagadishan.
ஹரியோம் ஆனந்தி.
ஹரியோம்.
இப்போ ஒருத்தரோட பாடி வந்து கபம் பித்தம் வாயு பாடியா அப்படின்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். இப்போ ஏதோ ஒன்று இருக்கு, இப்போ என் பாடி வந்து பித்த உடம்புனா அது லைஃப் லாங் அப்படியே தான் இருக்குமா இல்ல அது சேஞ்ச் ஆயிட்டு இருக்குமா? அது டவுட் இருக்கு.
அது ஒண்ணுதான் அங்கிள்.
ஆமா.
ஓகே. யா. ரெண்டு ஆன்சர் இருக்கு. மேஜரா இப்போ வில் டேக் ஒன் எக்ஸாம்பிள். எனக்கு பித்த பாடி இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. As a child and adult as well as in the end, you will continue to have அந்த பித்தோடைய இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் இருக்கவே இருக்கும் தான், நோ டவுட். அது மொத்தமா மாற முடியுமா? மோஸ்ட் ப்ராபப்ளி மாறாது. தேக பிரகிருதி, எந்த பாடியோட நம்ம பிறந்திருக்கோமோ, that came from how our parents were, நம்ம அம்மா அப்பாவோட லீனியேஜ்ல என்ன மாதிரி தாத்துக்கள் இருந்தது, அந்த மொமெண்ட் நம்ம கன்சீவ் ஆன போது அவ 2 பேரோட ஸ்திதி எப்படி இருந்தது, அம்மாவுடைய ஆகார விகாரங்கள் கர்ப்பமா இருந்த போது எப்படி இருந்தது, எக்ஸ்டர்னல் சரௌண்டிங் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ், அவங்களோட மானசிக ஸ்திதி அண்ட் உங்களோட கர்மா, இத்தனையோ ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் சேர்ந்துதான் நம்மளுக்கு கிடைக்கிற உடம்புங்கிறதோடைய இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் இஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் ஆல் தீஸ் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ். ஸோ அந்த கிடைச்ச பிரகிருத்தியை நம்மளால ஃபுல்லா மாற்ற முடியாதுதான். திஸ் இஸ் ஆயுர்வேதாஸ் சேம். யூ ஹாவ் அ பிரகிருதி, யூ ஆர் கிவன் அ பிரகிருதி, யூ வில் ரிமைன் வித் தட் பிரகிருதி. பட் அதுலேருந்து வரக்கூடிய விகாரங்களோ இல்ல அதுலேருந்து வரக்கூடிய வியாதிகளோ அதெல்லாம் ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ண முடியுமா, இல்ல சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியுமா? எனக்கு ஆக்சுவலா அக்னி மந்தமா தான் இருக்கு எப்பயுமே. வாழ்க்கை ஃபுல்லா எனக்கு கப பிரகிருதி, எனக்கு மந்த அக்னி தான். நான் அப்படியே தான் இருக்குமா? இல்ல. அதுக்காக தான் மெடிசன் இருக்கு. சோ ஔஷதிங்கிற கான்செப்ட் அங்கேருந்து தான் வருது. உங்களோட பிரகிருதிக்கு எதெல்லாம் தேவையோ டு ஹெல்ப் மேக் ஷுர் தட் டஸ் நாட் அஃபெக்ட் ஹவ் யோர் குவாலிட்டி ஆஃப் லைஃப் இஸ். அதுக்காக வேண்டியது தான் நம்ம நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பண்றோம். இப்ப அபியங்கமே கூட எனக்கு வாத பிரகிருதி இருக்கிற பர்சனுக்கு நீங்க அந்த அபியங்கம்ல யூ வில் ஆட் லிட்டில் கீ. யூ வில் நாட் டூ ஒன்லி வித் ஆயில், யூ வில் டூ ஆயில் அண்ட் கீ. வித் பிரகிருதிக்கு அதுவே கொஞ்சம் சீதமான ஆயிலா தான் சூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். So these modifications are made so that life is made easy, and even though you have one prakriti with which you are born, you're able to sustain it and do as well as you can in life. So yes, prakriti does remain the same. Manasika prakriti, however, can change. There are different types. நமக்கு திரிகுணம்ல இருந்து தான் சாத்விக, ராஜசிக, தாமசிகா. Each of them have subdivisions according to Ayurveda's understanding. 7 types of சாத்விக பிரகிருதி இருக்கு, 5 types of ராஜசிக பிரகிருதி, and 4 types of தாமசிக பிரகிருதி இருக்கு. Each of them have descriptions. இதுல மாற்றம் கொண்டு வர முடியுமா? This is like asking, நம்ம சாதனா பண்ணா நம்மளால உருப்பிட முடியுமா? முடியும் தான். பட் நான் இத மாதிரி தான் இருந்தேன், என்னால சேஞ்சே ஆக முடியாதா? ஆக முடியும், பட் அதுக்கு எஃபர்ட் நிறையவே தேவைப்படும். தேக பிரகிருதிக்கும் அதே மாதிரி தான். You can bring about a change, but your base prakriti, the underlying thing with which you were born, அது மாறாது.
தேங்க்யூமா, தேங்க்யூ.
ஹரியோம் ஆனந்தி. பத்மாசினி கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. இன்னைக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் வி ஆல் லைக் சேவா குரூப்ல வந்து தே ஆல் ஹேட் கம் டுடே ஃபார் சேவா. ஸோ அப்ப வந்து தேர் வாஸ் அ ஸ்மால் டிஸ்கஷன் இன் த சென்ஸ் லைக் இன் ஜென்ரல் எல்லாரோட இது எப்படி இருக்குங்கிறத. தென் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 2-3 ஆஃப் அஸ் ஹேட் த சேம் ரியாக்ஷன். என்னன்னாக்க லைக் இந்த அபியங்கெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு பார்த்தோம்னாக்க ஒரு செம்ம தூக்கம் வருது. I was also relating it to the age. Maybe we are all in the same menopause periodங்கிற அந்த இதுக்குள்ள இருக்கிறதுனால ஒரு solid sleep, like you just can't avoid it, like it just pushes you and you have to lie down. And last session was when doctor was speaking, இந்த தூங்க கூடாதுங்கிற அந்த ஒரு இது வேற. It was such a conflict in the mind whether to lie down and sleep. It was so difficult. அபியங்க பண்ணினா ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் கிளாஸும் நடத்துறோம். கிளாஸோட இதுல ஒரு 2.5 hours we are spending a lot of energy, and then by the time you come back you are hungry and then only you eat. So early morning session நடத்திட்டு அதுக்கப்புறமா வந்துட்டு சாப்பிட்ட அப்புறமா I could just feel that I needed rest and could not avoid sleeping because ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியல, just flat. After an hours of rest only, rest in the sense total sleep, complete இது. அதுக்கப்புறமா தான் again freshness வந்து work was like started. So and this was there at least with 2-3 people, so I was feeling okay. I was not the odd person out. So can you please explain, is it appropriate now whether to sleep or not is a big conflict ஆயிடுது. தூங்க கூடாதுன்னு சொன்னாலே தூக்கம் இப்படி வருது, என்ன பண்றது? So இது ரைட்
நம்ம நித்ராவை இன்னொரு இதுல ஃபுல்லாவே கவர் பண்ணுவோம். But for now the answer is that, as you rightly said, you are in menopause. There is a stage of life you're moving from one to another, and by nature in the period the body's needs for rest is also higher actually. And not just in activity, in terms of ahara thirumbi connect panna, today we were having a discussion at how 40 to 50 when this change is happening, people don't change their lifestyle. So in ahara what has to be changed at that time is these 3 things that we saw: lavana, amla, katu. இது மூணும் குறையணும். இது நல்ல ஒரு குவான்டிட்டியில இருக்கிற போதுதான் ப்ராப்பரான ரத்த பிரவிற்த்தி and ப்ராப்பரான menstrual flow also happens. Proper formation of raja or artava, according to us, that is how it forms. When you are in a phase where this function is receding, you have to also reduce these 3 aharas. You can take more rest, that is not a problem. But the rule for sleeping then will become, do not lie down fully and sleep. Prop yourself with a few pillows and sleep in the asina prachalayitam. That is a term. When you're sitting in easy chairla rest எடுத்துக்கிறது, இல்ல ஒரு 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 ஸ்லைடிங் சேர்லயோ whatever, you're sitting and you're taking that rest does not do dosha kopa. And other than this, we are living, எல்லாருமே இங்க சென்னை is a extremely hot place. If the weather is hot, grishma ritu is indicated in grishma ritu, in bala avastha of vayas, in vriddha avastha of vayas, in all of this, Diva Swapna is not contraindicated. You are allowed to sleep, just that how much you're sleeping, how you're sleeping matters. If you're not, it'll be better if you're able to do it this way. Recline posture la rest எடுத்துக்கிறது தூங்குறது is acceptable. தோஷ கோபம் அதனால ஆகாது. ரெண்டாவது சாப்பிட்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி தூங்கிட்டு then having is a better choice if it comes down to that.
Oh wow. Okay, சாப்பிடறதுக்கு முன்னாடி
முன்னாடி ஏன்னா
I see.
சாப்பிட்ட உடனே சாப்பிட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் within the first 1.5 hours அந்த ஃபார்மேஷன் ஆஃப் கப்பம் ஜாஸ்தி ஆகும் பாடியில. அதே டைட்டில் நீ படுத்துட்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா கப்பம் ஓவரால் நித்ரால கப்பம் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஸோ நீ அதுலயும் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ண, சாப்பிட்டது முடிச்சதுலயும் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ற, அக்னி கொஞ்சம் கம்மியாகும். ஹிருதய கொஞ்சம் இன் ஆர் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் நல்லா ஃபுல்லா அவேக்கா இருக்கிற போது ஹிருதயோட ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் நல்லா இருக்கும். இந்த ஆஹார ரசா இன்னைக்கு சொன்னோம், ரச தாத்து இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, அதெல்லாம் ஹிருதயாங்கிற மூலம்ல இருந்து தான் எல்லா போர்ஷன் ஆஃப் பாடிக்கும் போறது. ஸோ இந்த ஸ்ப்ரெட்ல ப்ராப்ளம் வரலாம், the way in which digestion happenedல ப்ராப்ளம் வரலாம், கபம் ஜாஸ்தி ஆகலாம். எல்லா இடத்துலயும் எங்கெல்லாம் உனக்கு கேப்ஸோ வீக்னஸஸ் இருக்கோ அங்கெல்லாம் போய் இந்த கப்பம் உட்காந்துக்கலாம். இது எல்லா இடத்துல இருந்தும் லேட்டர் யூ வில் ஹேவ் ப்ராப்ளம். தட் இஸ் வை வி ஆர் கான்ட்ராஇண்டிகேட்டிங் திவாஸ்வப்னா. பட் இன் த க்ரோயிங் ஃபேஸ் அது தேவை. ஸோ அங்க தூங்குவாதான். குழந்தை பார்த்தா என்ன 12, 14, 20 hours ஆஃப் டே தூங்கிட்டு தான் இருக்க போகுது. எண்ட் ஆஃப் லைஃப்ல இல்ல லைக் லாஸ்ட் 10 years அந்த பீரியட்ல பார்த்தீங்கன்னாலும் மோர் ரெஸ்ட் இஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட். தாத்துல அவ்வளோ பலம் இல்லை. Menopause stage is one kind, is such a stage, is a stage in which the body's tissues are all undergoing one amount of kshaya. It is so அதே டைட்ல ஆகாரால ரொம்ப நிறையவும் தேவை இருக்காது. அதை பார்த்து you should actually reduce how much you are eating. You may not require so much, that you have to be aware of. Not having kattu amla lavana ahara also important. Sleeping is allowed, just have it, do it before you are eating.
Okay, that's good. That's perfectly. Yeah, Appa.
Hariom.
Hariom.
Happy to see all of you enjoying this gentle exposure to ahara. I had frightened everyone that whatever you want to eat, you eat before the session. Tomorrow you won't get chance to eat anything.
See, we didn't go into that today.
Yeah, we didn't go
cheese,
into that.
paneer, tofu, soya,
Yeah.
paneer soda,
Yeah.
cola, pizza, அதெல்லாம் கிடையாதுதான். இன்னைக்கு சொல்லல அவ்வளவுதான்.
You don't start it now. Please don't start it now.
இல்ல இல்ல.
So
One more
Nirmala ji was wanting to request you. Intuitively it has been passed on to you. She wanted to request you that wait for one more week to give all that condition. This 1 week we'll keep it as our cheat week.
Oh sure,
Okay,
but நான் menopausal womenக்கு கிடையாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டேன். கட்டுவாம்ல லவணாஹார கிடையாது.
The important thing that I wanted to make one point for today's session as I'm listening, while I'm happy for all the half-century people who are sitting here and listening to this wonderful wisdom, I would really like children in the age group of, let's say, 9th standard, after high school, up to the time when they are going to finish their undergrad.
Yeah.
I think these sessions, if they are offered to them,
yeah,
in the same way, it may be very few children. And if you have children in your families, you know, your brother's children, your uncle's children, if you have girls, boys in the age group between, 14, 15 years up to 18, 20 years, 21 years, if they can attend this session, and if they are able to do preventive changes in life, they can avoid so much of problems in the future. So my request to all of you is, we will let you know. Maybe for some more time we will keep it only for sadhakas. But later on, we would let you know. We would want to address young kids on the same topics because that can be really helpful to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Anandi.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
If
Hari
still
Om,
there is
Anandi.
one more
Thank you so
question, we can
much.
take the last question.
Okay, yeah.
Anandima, just can I ask now?
Please, yeah.
You were talking about the 6 rasas. Okay, so see, one thing I've observed is right from childhood, my tolerance to spicy food has been very little. So maybe that is why I don't have the urge to have anything spicy because that experience was not so good right from childhood. So is there anything wrong because of avoiding that? So there's something which was self-imposed in a way. So
no, see, when you're saying you're not having spicy food, by katu ahara, I don't mean things that are only spicy to actually taste. Have you avoided having rasam? Have you avoided having little amount of pepper that you add? Have you avoided turmeric? All of those are also katu.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
No,
you
that
haven't.
is-
So when your understanding is from chili.
Yeah, correct,
Chili
correct.
சாப்பிடல, correct. But katu is provided by in katu, rasa is provided in smaller, subtler, intense ways in a lot of other things. So
Okay.
as long as you're taking South Indian food that you are used to, your katu component is covered.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that.
You don't
Yeah,
have to worry about it. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
Any other question? Okay.
Anandi, I have a question.
Auntie.
Actually, after doing this Karnabhyanga, in the nights I feel there is some itchy feeling in my ears where even in the deep sleep I am just doing it in a faster manner. Is this something natural when we are doing this, or and this is happening for the last 2, that too only in the night?
Alla. So what oil are you using?
The oil.
Gingerly. Okay. Fine. So is there this is specific, but I will ask anyway. Is there any kind of burning associated with it?
Just the itching where I feel like I have to do a fast thing like
உள்ள
this
விட்டு
in order to make my
புரிஞ்சுது. So instead of continuing Karna Purana, you can pause it for a few days. Ideally, I would have suggested Dhupana, which you can still do. நீங்க தூபம் போட்டு just keep it slightly close to your ear. Check if there is any kind of excess secretion. Is there any wax? Is there any other thing that is coming out? Find out if such a thing is there. If that is there, for that period, you stop the Purana. And if not, it may even be that gingerly is not really suiting. You may try instead with coconut. Yeah. But before that, I would still suggest doing dhupana first, which is dhupam pota, which with normal gobar, whatever you're using. Just keep it close to you. Let the fumes get in there. Don't repeat more than 2 times. That is enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we will
Hari
close
Om
that
Tat
for
Sat
today.
to everyone.
Yes. Hari Om Tat Sat.
We wind up today's session.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you so much.
Hari Om, thank you.
Thank you, Anand.
Hari Om.